So Twitter's in hot water again, and this time it doesn't have to do with Elon Musk. I'm John Lynn with BB Digital Lab, and today we're talking about United States of America versus Twitter Inc. So in court documents released May 25th, the Federal Trade Commission and the Department of Justice claimed that, quote, from at least May 2013 until at least September 2019, Twitter misrepresented to users of its online communication service the extent to which it maintained and protected the security and privacy of their non-public contact information. Specifically, while Twitter represented to users that it collected their telephone numbers and email addresses to secure their accounts, Twitter failed to disclose that it also used user contact information to aid advertisers in reaching their preferred audiences. Yes, this is exactly as bad as it sounds. Twitter has been, for an extended period of time, using what it called private user data, the things that it was just for security purposes, and giving it to advertisers. So those security questions are helping secure your account. In the case of Twitter, that wasn't the full story. So the reason that this is such a big case and Twitter was forced to pay $150 million in a fine was because this shouldn't have happened. This already came up in 2011 when Twitter made an agreement with federal lawmakers that they were explicitly prohibited from, quote, making misrepresentations regarding the security of non-public consumer information. And what did they do? Make misrepresentations regarding the security of non-public consumer information. Well, let's get into the settlement, because I'm sure you're wondering, okay, well, $150 million fine for a large company, they can make that up, but what are they going to do to make sure that they're not going to be selling more user data, right? So here's the list. Twitter cannot misrepresent how it uses non-public consumer information. Twitter must create a, quote, comprehensive information security program designed to protect user data. Twitter must be audited annually to ensure compliance by a third party. Twitter must document its progress and report everything it does in terms of its goals of protecting user data, the audits, consumer complaints, all of it to the FTC. And of course, as I mentioned, they have to pay $150 million. So all of this might sound kind of familiar to you, and that's because we saw a very similar case back in 2019 with the Facebook platform controlled by Meta Platforms Inc. In 2019, Facebook was fined $5 billion for making similar violations of using private data and giving it to advertisers. If any of you are in the ad space, you probably know that around that time, it became significantly harder to target people based on demographic data. That's because Facebook wasn't supposed to be allowing advertisers to do that. Now, what's great about all of this is this entire process, all of the audits, all of the the progress that Twitter supposedly makes to protect user data and not do this again is going to be publicly available. So you, as a consumer, as a Twitter user, can actually track their progress and do your own part of holding them accountable, especially if you want to make sure that you can continue to, or start more accurately, safely using the Twitter platform. But other than that, if you check the link down below, I have attached the whole court document so you can go through all the nitty-gritty as much as you want. I try to get into these court things because I think you really see some major changes when companies are forced to, right? And in terms of the future of Twitter, if you are advertising on Twitter presently or previously considering it, it is probably going to change a lot over the next year, moving through 2022. It's probably realistically going to get harder and more expensive, but that's just kind of the nature of this advertisement and the back and forth between accessibility and ad friendliness, and how much users are consenting to give up in terms of their information. But other than that, I'd like to thank you so much for listening and or watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And, if there's any other crazy cases you want me to talk about, by all means, leave a comment down below. But other than that, I've been John Lind, and I'll see you next week.